The war had ended years ago, but the universe still felt loud with its echo. Across the shattered remains of a forgotten planet, broken ships lay half-buried in ash and glass. The sky was a dull red, forever burning with storms caused by weapons older than memory. No birds flew here, no cities stood. This world had once been a battlefield where humanity made its last stand and lost. A single human walked across the ruins. His name was Elias Verne. He was not a general, nor a hero sung in songs. He was a former engineer, a man who used to repair ships and power grids. His armor was damaged, patched with metal taken from wrecks of many species. His face was thin, his eyes tired, but they still burned with purpose. He was one of the last. Humanity had fought bravely, but bravery was not enough. The alien empires had numbers, ancient weapons, and gods they worshipped openly. Humans had unity, stubborn hope, and the will to keep going even when defeat was certain. In the end, that was not enough to save their worlds. Elias walked toward a black stone structure rising from the ground like a broken tooth. It did not belong to humans or any known alien race. The structure had been here long before the war, long before space travel, long before stars were named. He stopped at its base and knelt. Around him lay bones, human bones mixed with alien remains. Soldiers, civilians, children, all gone, all forgotten by the galaxy that moved on without them. Elias took a deep breath and removed a small device from his pack. It was cracked and barely working. He placed it carefully on the stone floor and activated it. Blue symbols appeared in the air, forming a circle. This ritual was forbidden, dangerous. Most humans believed it was a myth, but Elias had nothing left to lose. He spoke the words slowly in a language older than Earth, learned from fragments found in ruined libraries. His voice shook not with fear but with exhaustion. The air grew heavy. The storms above paused as if listening. The ground trembled. Dark smoke poured from the stone circle, rising and twisting into a shape. The temperature dropped sharply. Elias felt pressure on his chest, like the universe itself was pressing down on him. Then she appeared. She was tall, towering over him, her form shifting between shadow and fire. Horns curved from her head, and eyes like burning stars stared down at him. Her presence made reality feel thin, fragile. She was the demon goddess. Across countless dimensions, her name was spoken only in whispers. She was known as a deal-maker, a destroyer, a being who found amusement in mortal desperation. She looked at Elias and smiled. "A human," she said, her voice echoing in many tones at once. "I did not expect one of your kind to summon me. You are nearly extinct." Elias did not stand. He kept his head bowed, but his voice was steady. "I know." She circled him slowly, studying him like a curiosity. "Most who call me beg for survival, power, revenge. You have done none of that yet. Interesting." She stopped in front of him. "By ancient law, you are granted 3 wishes. Speak carefully. I am not kind." Elias lifted his head and met her gaze. His eyes were red, not from fear, but from years of grief held inside. "I understand." The demon goddess waited, clearly expecting something selfish. Immortality, weapons, control over enemies. Instead, Elias spoke words that had never been spoken in her presence before. "My first wish," he said, "is that humanity's pain, history, and sacrifice will be remembered by the universe forever. That no power, no empire, no god will ever erase what we were or what we endured." Silence followed. The demon goddess froze. For a moment, her smile vanished. Her eyes widened just slightly, but it was enough. The space around them shook violently. Cracks appeared in the air itself, like invisible glass breaking. Far across the galaxy, something changed. Ancient machines paused their calculations. Alien scholars felt sudden unease without knowing why. Records long sealed began to glow. Forgotten human signals echoed again, carried by forces beyond light. The universe listened. The demon goddess took a step back. "That wish," she said slowly, her voice lower now. It touches fate, memory, balance. Elias did not look away. We were erased once. I will not allow it again. She stared at him, truly seeing him for the first time, not as a weak mortal, but as a representative of something dangerous. A species that did not ask to rule, only to be acknowledged. You do not ask for your people to return, she said. You do not ask for victory. I ask for truth, Elias replied. Even if we never rise again, let the universe know we existed. Let it know the cost of destroying us. The demon goddess trembled. It was subtle but real. She had granted countless wishes over endless ages. Never had one shifted the foundation of reality like this. Never had a mortal used remembrance as a weapon. You humans are strange, she whispered. Around them, visions began to form. Battles replayed across the stars. Human fleets standing against overwhelming odds. Soldiers shielding civilians. Engineers sacrificing themselves to keep ships running. Mothers and fathers sending children away on escape vessels that never returned. The galaxy saw it all. On distant worlds, alien citizens felt a sudden weight in their hearts. Questions formed. Why were these beings destroyed? Why were they feared? Why were they forgotten? Elias felt tears run down his face, but he did not wipe them away. For so long, he said, we screamed into the void. Now the void finally answers. The demon goddess slowly straightened. Her fear faded, replaced by something close to respect. You have used your first wish wisely, she said, and dangerously. She leaned closer. Do you understand what you have done? You have made humanity impossible to ignore. You have turned memory into a force stronger than armies. Elias nodded. That was the point. She laughed softly, but there was no mockery in it. The universe will react. Empires will grow uneasy. Gods will notice. Good, Elias said. Let them. The storms above resumed, louder than before. The planet shook as if awakening from a long sleep. Somewhere, deep beneath the surface, old human technology responded to signals it had not heard in centuries. The demon goddess stepped back into the shadows, her form already fading. You have 2 wishes left, human. She paused. Use them carefully. Even I do not fully know what your kind may become now. As she vanished, Elias remained kneeling among the ruins. He felt no joy, no victory, only a quiet sense of purpose. Humanity was still broken, still scattered, still weak, but it was no longer forgotten. And that, he knew, was the beginning of something far greater than survival. The universe did not change all at once. It changed quietly, like a breath held too long and then released. Elias felt it first. Days passed after the demon goddess vanished. He remained on the dead planet, living among ruins and wreckage. Supplies were low, but old survival habits kept him alive. He repaired a shelter from broken hull plates and powered a small beacon using parts scavenged from fallen ships. He slept little. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw visions that were not his own. He saw humans fighting on worlds he had never visited. He saw alien skies filled with fire. He saw courage, fear, loss, and hope, memories pouring through him like a river. His wish was working. Across the galaxy, reactions spread like ripples in dark water. On a distant capital world of the Karun Empire, a council session was interrupted when ancient archives activated without command. Holograms filled the chamber, showing human fleets standing against impossible odds. Alien leaders watched in silence as scenes of sacrifice played again and again. These records were sealed, one counselor said, uneasily. Why are they showing now? No one answered. But fear had already entered the room. On another world, a machine intelligence paused its endless calculations. It detected a new constant in the universe, human memory encoded into spacetime itself, a variable that could not be erased. The machine flagged it as a potential existential risk. Among common alien citizens, something stranger happened. Dreams changed. Stories spread. People who had never met a human felt sadness for them. Children asked questions their elders could not answer. Why did humans fight so hard? Why were they destroyed? Why did their loss feel personal? Back on the ruined planet, Elias felt weak one morning and collapsed to his knees. His breath came fast. His heart raced. He thought he was dying. Then the demon goddess appeared again. She did not rise from smoke this time. She simply stepped into existence as if she had always been there. Her expression was different now, less amused, more alert. "You are becoming a beacon," she said. Elias looked up slowly. "I didn't ask for that." "You asked for remembrance," she replied. "This is the price. Memory needs an anchor. Right now, that anchor is you." She waved her hand and the air filled with images. Human survivors scattered across the galaxy suddenly receiving signals, old codes, forgotten frequencies. Emergency systems activating after centuries of silence. "They are finding each other," Elias whispered. "Yes," the demon goddess said. "Your kind hid many things when they fell. Refuge stations, autonomous factories, sleeper ships. Your wish is waking them." Elias struggled to stand. "Then humanity has a chance." "A chance," she agreed, "but also a target." As if her words summoned it, space above the planet shimmered. A small alien scout vessel dropped out of warp, then another, then a third. They had found him. The demon goddess's eyes narrowed. "Already, faster than I expected." Elias felt fear grip his chest, but he did not run. "They're here for me." "They are here for what you represent," she corrected. "A mistake they thought buried." Energy beams struck the surface nearby, blasting craters into the ground. The planet shook violently. Elias stumbled as debris fell around him. "You should leave," he said to her. "You owe me nothing." The demon goddess smiled faintly. "Perhaps. But if you die now, the balance breaks in unpredictable ways. I dislike unpredictability." She raised her hand and the sky darkened. The alien ships froze midair, caught in an invisible force. Their weapons powered down instantly. "Go," she told Elias. "Follow the signal your people are sending. I will delay them." Elias hesitated. "Will you be safe?" She laughed softly. "Human, I am a goddess, but remember this, I am not untouched by your kind anymore." He ran. Guided by instinct and faint signals only he could feel, Elias reached an underground chamber hidden beneath the ruins. Ancient doors opened at his approach. Inside lay a small human vessel, compact but advanced, untouched by time. As he entered, the ship powered on, recognizing him not by name but by species. "Human presence confirmed," the system said. "Welcome home." The words nearly broke him. The ship launched just as explosions tore through the surface above. Elias did not look back. He did not need to. The planet had already served its purpose. As the ship entered warp, Elias felt something new: connection. Other minds, other humans, they were calling to each other. Weeks passed. Elias traveled from hidden station to hidden station. Each place held survivors, engineers, soldiers, scientists, children grown into adults who had never known peace. At first they looked at him with suspicion, then with awe, then with hope. They listened as he told them what he had done. Some cried, some laughed, some were angry. "You made us visible," one woman said. "Do you know how dangerous that is?" "Yes," Elias answered, "but hiding didn't save us." Slowly, humanity began to organize again, not as an empire, not as conquerors, as survivors who had learned hard lessons. They did not build massive fleets. They built smart ones. They shared knowledge freely. Every loss became a lesson. Every defeat sharpened them, and they changed. The second effect of Elias' wish revealed itself. Humans began adapting faster. Not through magic, but through pressure. Minds worked quicker. Cooperation became instinctive. Fear no longer froze them, it focused them. Alien forces attacked human outposts, expecting easy victories. Instead, they met traps, clever tactics, and sacrifices that achieved impossible outcomes. Small human ships disabled larger alien cruisers. Ground teams escaped situations no model predicted. The galaxy watched in growing concern. The demon goddess observed it all from beyond reality. She felt it when Elias called to her again. She appeared aboard a human station orbiting a quiet star. Humans froze at her presence, weapons raised. Elias stepped forward. "She won't harm us," he said. The demon goddess studied the station, the people, the determination in their eyes. "You build quickly." "We have to," Elias replied. "They won't stop coming." "No," she said. "They won't." She looked directly at him. "Your second wish is forming even before you speak it." Elias frowned. "What do you mean?" "You wished for memory," she said. "Memory creates pressure. Pressure creates change. Your kind is becoming something new." He was silent for a long moment. "Is that bad for the universe?" she asked. "Possibly. For humanity?" She paused, then answered honestly. "No." Alarms suddenly blared across the station. Long-range sensors detected a fleet emerging from warp, an alliance of alien powers united by fear. They had decided to end the problem together. Humans moved without panic. Plans activated. Ships launched. Civilians evacuated. Elias looked at the demon goddess. "They're coming for all of us." "Yes," she said, "and soon they will come for me as well. Gods who interfere are rarely tolerated." Elias clenched his fists. "Then I need to act." She met his gaze, her expression serious. "Be careful, human. Your next wish will not just change your people." He nodded slowly. "I know." Outside the station, human ships formed up, small, determined, outnumbered, but unafraid. The universe had begun to watch. And for the first time, it was unsure who should be afraid. The alien fleet arrived like a shadow that swallowed the stars. Hundreds of warships emerged from warp around the human-held system. Their hulls were massive, layered with armor and weapons meant to crush entire worlds. They had come together for one purpose: to end the human problem before it grew beyond control. Inside the human station there was no screaming, no panic. Humans moved with calm speed. Pilots ran to their ships. Engineers sealed sections and rerouted power. Families embraced once, briefly, then separated without words. Everyone knew their role. Elias stood in the command chamber, watching the tactical display. Red symbols filled the space around them. The human ships were few, small points of blue light. "We are outnumbered 10-1, a commander said quietly. "Yes," Elias replied, "but we've been outnumbered before." The demon goddess hovered nearby, unseen by most, her presence heavy like a storm cloud. She watched the humans closely. There was no fear in their movements, only focus. "This is not how doomed species behave," she murmured. The first shots were fired without warning. Energy beams tore through space, bright lines of destruction. Human ships scattered instantly, breaking formation into small groups. Alien commanders smiled, believing it was chaos. It was not. Human ships moved like living things, weaving through fire, drawing enemy vessels out of position. Mines detonated where no one expected. False signals confused targeting systems. Small teams boarded damaged alien ships, disabling them from within, then escaping before self-destruction. Losses were heavy on both sides. Humans lost ships, lost people. But every loss slowed the enemy. Every sacrifice created an opening. Elias felt each death like a weight in his chest. He closed his eyes for a moment and felt something answer. Not a voice, not words, pressure. The same pressure that had followed his first wish. The universe bending slightly around him, listening. The demon goddess noticed it instantly. "You are doing it again," she said sharply. Elias opened his eyes. "I haven't wished yet." "You are close," she replied. "Careful. The line between intent and command is thin now." Outside, the battle worsened. The alien fleet adjusted tactics, bringing overwhelming force to bear. Human defenses began to crack. A transport ship full of civilians was struck, its signal vanishing from the display. Elias clenched his fists. His hands shook. "They're going to wipe us out," he said quietly. All of this erased again. The demon goddess studied him. "This is the moment when mortals usually beg." He looked at her. "I'm not begging." Then he spoke his second wish. "I wish," Elias said, his voice steady despite the chaos, that whenever humanity is pushed toward extinction, we will adapt faster than those who try to destroy us. The words did not echo. They sank. Reality shuddered. For a split second, the battle froze. Time did not stop, but something deeper shifted. Across every human mind, something unlocked. Patterns became clear. Fear sharpened into clarity. Ideas connected instantly. Human pilots changed tactics without orders. Engineers rewrote systems on the fly. Soldiers adjusted strategies mid-fight. Alien commanders stared in confusion as human ships suddenly performed maneuvers thought impossible. Weapons synchronized with perfect timing. Shields adapted to incoming fire within seconds. The tide began to turn. A massive alien dreadnought pushed forward, its main cannon charging to destroy the human station. 3 human ships moved to intercept, knowing they would not survive. They succeeded anyway. The dreadnought exploded, taking nearby vessels with it. The shockwave tore through space, scattering the alien formation. Cheers did not erupt on the human channels. There was no time. The demon goddess staggered, gripping the air as if struck. Her form flickered, unstable. "That wish," she said through clenched teeth. "You tied adaptation to extinction itself. You made suffering a trigger." Elias looked at her, eyes filled with pain. "We never asked for this universe to be kind." She laughed once, breathless. "No, you did not." The alien fleet began to retreat. Not because they were defeated, but because they no longer understood what they were fighting. Every prediction failed. Every advantage vanished within minutes. As the last enemy ship fled into warp, silence filled the system. Human ships drifted, damaged but alive. They had survived. On the station, people collapsed where they stood. Some cried, some laughed. Some simply stared at the stars, unable to believe they were still alive. Elias felt weak. He sank to his knees. The demon goddess stood over him, her expression unreadable. "You have changed the rules of survival," she said. "Not just for humans, for everyone who faces you." "Is that wrong?" Elias asked. She did not answer immediately. "Gods are not meant to fear mortals," she said finally. "Yet here I am." News spread quickly across the galaxy. The allied alien fleets that had sworn to erase humanity returned broken and confused. Stories spread of human ships that learned faster than sensors could track, of strategies that evolved mid-battle, of a species that turned desperation into strength. Some alien worlds panicked, others watched carefully, and some reconsidered. Not all aliens wanted humanity destroyed. Some had fought them out of fear, not hatred. Now, seeing what humans had endured and how they responded, doubts grew. Secret messages were sent. Quiet offers of ceasefire, requests for dialogue. Human leaders debated fiercely. "Trust is dangerous," one argued. "So is endless war," another replied. Elias listened to them all but said little. He felt the weight of his wishes pressing down on him. He could sense humanity changing, not becoming cruel but becoming sharper, more united, less willing to be erased. The demon goddess visited him again in private. "You have one wish left," she said. Elias nodded. "I know." "That wish," she continued, "will decide whether humans remain bound to God's fate and cosmic games or step beyond them." He met her gaze. "You sound afraid." "I am cautious," she corrected. "There is a difference." She walked around him slowly. "If you wish for power, humanity may rule and be hated. If you wish for peace, it may not last. If you wish for protection, you may bind your people forever." Elias closed his eyes. He thought of Earth, of blue skies he might never see again, of ordinary lives that had been crushed, of children who grew up in hiding, of soldiers who stood their ground knowing they would die. "We kept waiting," he said softly, "for help, for gods, for the universe to care." He opened his eyes. It never did. The demon goddess stopped in front of him. "And now," Elias said, "I want humanity to stand on its own." She inhaled slowly as if bracing herself. "If you make that wish, my influence ends. Not just mine. All divine hands will loosen. Good, Elias replied. We don't need to be guided anymore. Outside, human ships returned to docks. Repairs began. Plans formed not for conquest but for survival without hiding. The galaxy watched from afar. Gods watched too. And for the first time since the universe began, they were unsure whether they still belonged at the top. Elias looked out at the stars, knowing what his final wish would cost, and knowing he would pay it gladly. The galaxy was quiet but not peaceful. Silence had a weight now, heavy with expectation. Every world, every star system felt the echo of what humans had done. They were no longer invisible. They were remembered. Elias stood on the observation deck of the human flagship, staring into deep space. Behind him, the hum of engines filled the room. The vessel was small compared to alien dreadnoughts, but it carried more than metal and fuel. It carried hope, strategy, and a stubbornness that could not be measured in tonnage. The demon goddess appeared beside him. This time she made no noise entering. Her form shimmered between shadow and light, but her eyes were serious, almost somber. "You are ready," she said. "I am," Elias replied. "I know what this will do. I know the cost." She tilted her head. "Do you?" Once this wish is made, humanity steps entirely into its own hands. No gods, no fates, no cosmic powers will guide or protect you. You may rise or fall. Elias nodded slowly. "I know. But if we cannot stand on our own, then all that we fought for, all those who died, it means nothing. We cannot live as pawns forever, not even to survive." The demon goddess studied him. "Very well," she said. "Speak your wish." He took a deep breath, looking at the stars that had seen his species crushed, scattered, and forgotten. "I wish humanity will never need gods again, that we will shape our own fate, survive or fail by our own will, and never be bound to powers beyond our reach." The words echoed across the vessel, across space, across dimensions. For a heartbeat, the universe itself seemed to pause. Even the demon goddess felt the weight of this final wish. She had seen mortals wish for immortality, power, vengeance, but never independence. Then it happened. A wave of energy surged outward, not violent but fundamental. Invisible threads that once tied humans to divine intervention unraveled. Not cruelly, not abruptly, but permanently. Human minds, bodies, and souls felt lighter. Decisions, risks, and triumphs no longer had to pass through the judgment of gods or cosmic forces. Humanity was free. The demon goddess stepped back, shaken. Her horns trembled slightly, and she spoke in a voice that held a rare vulnerability. "You have done what none of your kind dared dream. You have removed the need for gods, for guidance, for salvation, and yet you ask nothing for yourselves." Elias looked down. "We do not want salvation, we want responsibility. Our people deserve the chance to live without being pawns." Her eyes softened, almost imperceptibly. "You are remarkable and dangerous. I have underestimated humans for too long." Outside the ship, alien observers began to feel the shift. Fleets that once sought to destroy humanity froze. Machines recalculated, unable to account for the sudden absence of divine interference in human fate. Gods across dimensions whispered, uncertain whether they should intervene or respect the change. Some were angry. Some were afraid. Some simply watched, fascinated. Within humanity itself, change was immediate and subtle. Survivors understood instinctively how to work together, how to rebuild faster, smarter. Civilian engineers improvised weapons and defenses from scraps. Pilots coordinated like a single organism, predicting and adapting to enemy moves in ways no machine could calculate. Scientists deciphered alien technologies with rapid insight. The lessons learned from countless defeats became tools for survival, sharpened and applied without fear of divine punishment. The small fleet that had barely survived an earlier battle now looked like a rising storm, ready to defend human outposts across dozens of systems. Elias felt exhaustion creeping in, but he also felt something heavier, responsibility. His first wish had ensured that humanity would never be forgotten. His second wish had made them stronger when cornered. And this final wish freed them completely. The consequences were enormous. Every decision humans made from now on would be theirs alone, for better or worse. The demon goddess hovered over the observation deck, her form dimming. "I am no longer tethered to you, nor are you tethered to me," she said softly. "You have removed even me from your future. This is unprecedented." Elias turned to her. "Will you watch over us still?" She shook her head. "I will watch, yes, but not to guide, only to witness. Humans, you will shape the galaxy in ways I cannot predict. I will not interfere." A low hum vibrated through the ship as communication signals from distant human survivors reached them. Stations that had been hidden for centuries were active again. Refugees long separated were finding one another. Humanity's scattered remnants began to coalesce into a network, exchanging information, resources, and hope. Elias moved among them, giving guidance where it was needed, but he did not lead with authority. He led by example, by showing courage and clarity when fear threatened. He understood that this was no longer his battle alone, it was humanity's. Every decision, every choice, every success and failure would be theirs. Months passed. Alien observers learned quickly that humans were no longer predictable. Tactics and strategies that had worked for centuries failed against a species that adapted faster than anyone had imagined. Entire fleets were rerouted or destroyed without warning. Yet humans never sought conquest. They sought survival, knowledge, and unity. The demon goddess returned once, standing silently on the bridge as Elias watched pilots navigate an asteroid field to avoid ambushes. "Your kind grows astonishingly fast," she whispered. "I feared gods for centuries. Now I fear humans." Elias smiled faintly, tired but proud. "We only survive because we have no other choice." She shook her head. "No, you survive because you refuse to be erased, because you remember, because you fight not for power but for your own story, and that terrifies even me." As the years passed, humanity expanded carefully. They reclaimed lost colonies. They repaired damaged worlds. They created alliances not under force but through respect and trust. Their fleets were small, precise, and unpredictable. Their colonies flourished, grounded in logic, ingenuity, and the lessons of past failures. The galaxy began to notice. Other civilizations began sending emissaries. Some sought friendship, some trade, some understanding. Humans did not dominate, they negotiated, adapted, and survived. In every encounter they carried their story, a story of resilience, courage, and refusal to vanish quietly. And the demon goddess watched from afar. She no longer intervened. She no longer tested them. She simply observed, sometimes smiling, sometimes silent, as humans reshaped their destiny without gods. Elias stood one final time on the observation deck of his flagship. Below him, engineers repaired ships. Scientists examined alien artifacts. Pilots prepared for patrols across nearby systems. Children born after the wars played safely under watchful guardians. Humanity had survived. Humanity had adapted. Humanity had risen. He closed his eyes and whispered a quiet vow. "We will never be erased again. Not by gods, not by empires, not by fate itself. We will shape our own destiny, and we will remember every sacrifice that brought us here." The demon goddess appeared beside him silently, her form shifting with the light of the stars. "You are extraordinary," she said. "I never imagined mortals could do this. You have changed the rules of the universe." Elias opened his eyes, looking at the stars. "We are human," he said, "and that is enough." Far across the galaxy, the signals of humanity's rebirth spread. Ships carried survivors to new worlds. Colonies thrived. Stories of courage and sacrifice spread among aliens who watched in awe. No longer a hidden species, no longer weak, humanity had become a force not of conquest, but of resilience, hope, and undeniable presence. And somewhere, deep in the cosmos, the demon goddess shivered slightly again, not from fear but from respect. Never before had she witnessed a mortal species rewrite their own fate without divine hand guiding them. Humans had done it, and the universe would never forget them. Elia stood tall. Humanity's story had begun again, not as pawns, not as victims, not as a forgotten memory, but as the species that refused to kneel, refused to vanish, and refused to be silent in the face of the cosmos itself. The galaxy waited to see what would come next. And humanity, for the first time in history, was ready to meet it on its own terms. They were free, they were human, and the universe would never forget them.